Hi there, I'm Ellen from the Charles and Ellen Academy, and I'm so excited to have you here. So, this is part two of the the relaxation project, or I called it Embroider Your Stress Away. So, this is how far I've gotten on this relaxation project in the past week. Part one, I'll put the link to it just below this video. You can see how I got started, and I chatted a little bit about color psychology, how I wanted to use or create a project that incorporates a lot of different colors that also is able to adapt its colors depending on your preference. All right. I chose to also go for a sunset type of scenery that was inspiring my kind of abstract design in some way, but I'm just taking inspiration color wise from and design wise from just an idea, an imaginative sunset, really. The goal of it being here down here, having the calming, soothing blues. I personally love blue. Maybe also why I got a nice blue carrier. Um, and here, this is what we did live together with everyone who tuned in. I just used a simple piece of scotch that I found lying around here, and I used that just to help me mark out the placement of the sun. Right? I drew a line, and I'm going to use this just to help me in the reference of where to place the stitches. So I want to place the stitches still in the same type of technique as down here, very free, essentially just horizontal straight stitches, a little bit randomly placed. I'm mixing up different colors. I'll show you more in detail in a second. I still want to do that up here. I did identify and find in my floss stash, a variated yellow oranges that I thought is going to be perfect for the sun. And so I do want to do these kind of random straight stitches, just that. The only thing that is more controlled is that they start and stop along this line. The reason being that to make it a bit more defined, the contour. Because if you imagine a sunset, you have these gorgeous colors all over the sky, and usually it reflects a bit over on the ocean as well, or the sea. But there's usually quite a strong contrasting line around the actual sun, right? So even though I might continue doing some lighter yellows, and maybe there's even a little bit of blue sky left over here, I don't know yet. And then you continuing with the goes over into the yellows, the oranges, the pinks, the red. I just add a little bit of pink here already because I kind of wanted to break this white canvas fear. I talked about it in the first part as well. It can be such a daunting thing to just have, it's just empty space and you don't really know where to start. So instead of just talking about it, I was like thinking, let me just show you live. I'm just putting in some pink stitches here. The great thing about this project, so honestly, I'm falling in love with it. If you didn't notice already, I am in love with it. For the reason of how free and flexible and inviting it feels. As I am a mom of two small ones, I don't have that much time to sit for hours on end. This project is great in just being able to add a couple stitches here and there and still giving a great sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Seeing how it just kind of grows in front of me. So right here, for example, let me just add a few stitches instead of just talking. I'm filling out the empty spaces. So I'm essentially going over the same surfaces multiple times, just using different floss. So in the first part of the series, or first part of this project, I used the variated floss from CGT. I showed it to you a bit more in detail in the last video. This one, Cotton Garden Threads from Australia. That blue and turquoise and purple variated floss finished. So I have since then mixed in with a bit more of these DMC floss or whatever floss I had lying around. And at first with a variated floss, I was really not paying too much attention to where I was placing it. I just kind of randomly spread it out, because the nice thing is that you can always overlap stitches and you go over it many times, filling in the blanks, or even if you feel that, okay, I didn't want to have purple in this particular location, no problem. You can just stitch over it. Think of the floss as acrylic paint, that it's very covering in the sense that you make a mistake, don't cut it up, just stitch over it, especially with this type of a project. Another little tip that I noticed while stitching is that I found if I was just not kind of careful when doing these stitches around the side of the canvas, I personally love how it's turning out having this on the side. When I used to do a lot of painting, I always painted the sides as well, because then when you put it on a shelf on your wall, or not necessarily on a wall, but maybe on a cupboard or whatever, the artwork continues all the way around, so you can see it from different angles. Now, I found it easier to kind of stretch it, see, so that the camera can focus. I keep it stretched all around, all the time as I'm taking it up. I keep this stretched, all right? I'll try one where I come from the other side as well. Now I went from the top to the bottom, but you can of course come also from the bottom and onto the top. So let's do one like that as well. So I put it over and I hold it stretched in place where I want it to go, and I just secure it by stitching down. So what I started saying was that I, in the beginning with these variated floss, didn't think too much about their respective location. But now that I've started filling out the blanks, I'm more conscious about which colors I place where. So again, referring back to my original inspiration of a sunset, I thought usually kind of around the sun, and it's the brightest, right? Both in the sky, but also it's where it usually reflects a bit onto the sea, which made me think that around, kind of in this section here and this section and bottom, it should probably be a little bit darker blue, or probably you decide, but that's what I wanted to do, to create somewhat of a contrast or distinction between the reflection, the sun reflection, and these darker areas, or like the rest of the sea. Here you also get a glimpse on the back side. So I always make sure to cut off the floss as soon as I have knotted it and secured it. I cut it off right away to not let it hanging around, because it's just going to create this unnecessary floss, makes it harder to poke through, and it's just a mess, really. Again, the whole point of this project is to boost that creativity in all of us and to not be overwhelmed with a lot of floss on the back, right? Try to reduce the overwhelm. So that was about the color work, and the last thing we did was also to kind of take out a bit different floss. You don't have to decide all of your floss in advance. Absolutely not. But it could be, in case, or how can I phrase this? Depending on whether you are a visual person or not, it can be a good idea to just give a rough overview, kind of give yourself an idea of the colors you want to use, because then you can easier visualize how it might look. And in case you watched the first part, you know that I really wanted to make a strong sky with a lot of strong red, oranges. We've got some of the yellow still on the sun to complement these blues. And it's really to play with this, the color psychology, where I find these strong reds and oranges, the warm colors, they can represent anger and those types of things negatively. But if we look at the positive side, they are generally very powerful, energetic, joyful. So if those are the types of emotions that you feel that you want to nurture at that moment, then go for it, these bright, bold colors. Whereas if you feel I just need to wind down, I'm hyper stressed, have a lot of tension, and just like feel, yeah, not great, maybe these calmer blues and the repetition of the stitches can really be your go-to. So that's how I wanted this project to be catering to those different needs, because the focus of these different projects that I'm working on right now is really to enhance creativity, to facilitate getting back to a creative habit whenever you've lost it. I lost it. I struggled a bit with postpartum depression when this little lady, wonderful baby girl, was born. I'm much better now, thank you. But a big part of that has been to consciously try to make small efforts. It maybe sounds strange, but to just add, and this project actually, I feel already is in just 1 week how this is really helping me, because getting back into creation, now it happens to also be my job, so I have to, but getting back into it and feeling energized and motivated and creative and knowing what to make has been really, really difficult and felt too overwhelming, too big of a mountain to climb. So this project, first, it's on a canvas. So when I say that I'm done, it's finished, well, it's already mounted and ready to go. You can just hang it up as a proof of your dedication and hard work of actually feeling better, because that is a big work that needs to be recognized. And we tend to be too harsh on ourselves, don't we? So yeah, that's what I really love. I'm actually, I don't know about you, please let me know in the comments, but I'm gonna go and get multiple of these canvases because I've got so many projects I want to do now on this. It's also very beginner friendly and also works for seasoned stitchers. Again, you get to play with colors and how the colors goes together. I decided to also to reduce the overwhelm, to not mix in too many different angles of the stitches or too many different techniques either. I'm really focusing just on the horizontal, and it creates a very satisfactory like texture, and depending on which angle you're looking at it, it's just like I absolutely love it. You see how also the color work is kind of shifting, the nuances are shifting depending on how the sun or the light hits on it. And it's just, yeah, it's just so satisfactory to keep adding on. You can also just add one strand or one stitch and put it down, and yeah, I'm in love with it. So you're gonna see more projects. I am going to come back to architecture as well, but I want to really experiment a bit with these freer stitches, and I'm so excited to have you along with the ride. Let me know in the comments, did you start your canvas yet? What are you inspired by to stitch on it? And how does embroidery make you feel? Let's start the conversation, continue the conversation maybe rather. I don't know yet, or actually I do believe I'm going to make another update with this because I don't think I'm going to be done in just 1 week. I'm still time optimistic. I want to look at that as a sign of getting better, on a healthy sign, at least on my part, that I'm not just feeling like I've given up on something. I usually time optimistic, but I don't know if I'm done in a week. I will be making another update on this, but I am for sure making more projects. So also put that in the comments if you've got the wishes for different styles. I don't know. All right, that was that for this second part of this Embroider Your Stress Away project. And I hope you are enjoying it as much as I do. Also, don't forget, if you are completely new to embroidery, to Charles and Ellen, the Charles and Ellen Academy, I also put the link directly to the Academy below. The Academy membership is now open again, so you can come in and join us, take any of our courses, and I'm slowly but surely starting to add some more lectures into that. This Embroider Your Stress Away series is a big part in really helping all of us who lost it getting back into it, but also you who are new to kind of discover the wonders of fiber art and creating with your hands. Right now we've got about, I think, 35 or 37 courses in the Academy. If you join us, it's at a small fee per month, but you get access to all of the courses in one. We used to have them only uniquely, but it got just overwhelming for everybody really to know where to start. Now you can access them all in one place. And I hope that just made life a lot easier, because once again, creativity needs to not be too overwhelming, or else we won't do it, right? And if we want to have results, it's about taking action. So thank you so much, and I see you next time.